Hey there everybody, it's Mecha Draco coming to you with another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing another Observations of Society, and in this Observations of Society we're going to be talking about VidCon. That's right. As if it's not been talked about enough. So, just as a bit of a refresher, in case everybody doesn't know what happened, Sargon of Akkad, a skeptic community, I would say leader, because he's got probably one of the most subscribers out there for the skeptic community, went to a panel that was discussing online harassment. The panel featured Anita Sarkeesian, and Anita Sarkeesian, during the beginning of the panel, called out Sargon, called him a shithead and human garbage, which in general was pretty much a bad thing. After the fact, VidCon decided to apologize to Anita for Sargon's presence. And then later after that, she was in another panel with Boogie 2998. And after the panel, for what Boogie said at the very end of the panel, decided to confront him with that and not call him any names, but yell at him and tell him that it was fucked up for what he said. Which, all in all, everything that's happened so far has made me very, I would say, upset because of treatment to people that don't deserve it. Specifically Boogie. Boogie didn't deserve to be treated like that. He's one of the nicest people out there in the world. He's somebody who really offers human decency to a lot of people, and he himself just didn't deserve to be called, just to be yelled at like that. And Sargon did nothing to deserve what he was, to deserve the insults that he received. And I think that's probably one of my biggest issues with this particular situation right now is the language that's been used a lot. Harassment, abuse, and it's from both sides. Both sides are using it. They're saying, oh, Sargon's been abusing and harassing Anita for years, when we all know that's bullcrap. We see, Sargon saying that he's being abused and harassed by Anita because she called him a garbage human and a shithead. And all I can think to myself is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of harassment, maybe falls along the level of harassment, but abuse seems like it's a much more personal thing, and to me, it doesn't really feel like any of this has been abuse. Insults. The word that everyone's looking for is insult. That's the word. And that's my problem. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think that insult might be a little bit too vague. Some people might be insulted or something like that by something that they didn't really necessarily think was insulting, or that isn't necessarily insulting. But I think calling someone a shithead and a garbage human is a pretty universal insult. And I think that is the key here. It wasn't necessarily that she was harassing him, because if she was harassing him, it would have been a continuous thing throughout the whole panel. If it was abuse, she'd have got off the fucking stage and gotten into his face and said, "You're a garbage human, fuck you." But that's not what happened. Do I think what happened is right? No. Do I think that Anita should have gotten kicked out of VidCon? Yes, definitely. She should have definitely received some form of punishment for this, but she was actually apologized to. I'm going to have the link in the description box below, but she actually, in the debriefing for all of this, they actually do go on and explain that she literally was apologized to by, like, the creators and owners and runners of VidCon, and that's what blows my mind. The part that blows my mind the most is the fact that they cannot be subjectively focused. They're subjective about this. They're not being objective. They're being subjective. I'm always having trouble with those two words. I don't know why. But they were not being... The objective truth is she insulted Sargon. She broke the rules. The rules are specifically state that you are not allowed to do that kind of thing. She did it on a panel in front of hundreds of people, and she insulted Sargon. She should have suffered the consequences for it. Period. There's a reason why law is blind. Just like me right now. But the fact is that she should have been punished for it. And then she went on from there to then further instigate, like, and sort of threaten Boogie. Maybe threatens a little bit of a harsh word, but the idea nonetheless is that she effectively yelled at Boogie and caused him to have even more issues with his anxiety and other things like that. And that was the whole reason why he was afraid to even be there in the first place, because he was terrified of Anita. If Anita's such a nice person, why are so many people afraid of her? And I can guarantee you it's not just because she's a woman who has power. It's because she's a woman with power who abuses it. But anyways, I'm not going to go on much further than that. All I'm going to say from here is that I don't agree with really what either side did in this situation. They knew that going into the front lines like that might actually cause a little bit of a stir. Mind you, did they actually do something? No. Which is why Anita didn't have any right to say what she said. And I definitely don't agree with anything that Anita did to Boogie. And I definitely don't agree with VidCon for not punishing her for what she did. To both of them, honestly. She didn't even get a warning for what happened. She didn't even, like, they didn't even give her a warning. Like, that's my biggest thing. It's not so much that they should have punished her somewhat specifically. They shouldn't necessarily, like, maybe they could have understood where she was coming from. But not even a warning? No, instead of a warning, not even a warning, she gets an apology. She gets an apology for insulting someone else. That's just dumb. That's just... That makes you put your face to your palm. You do your palm. You take your palm and you... The hardest you physically can. Because that's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to continue on with all of this because it's just stress that I don't need to deal with. But anyways, I don't believe that anybody was right in this situation, but Anita sure as hell was not right in this situation. And I certainly hope you guys liked this video. And if you did, you guys know the drill by now. Go on and hit that like button. And if you did really like it, go on and hit that share button. And if you loved it, hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, guys, good luck out there. And don't forget to have fun.